Hello, welcome to another edition. I said this last time of this week or the week or weeks in wrestling. I don't know anymore. Lost control of my life at this point. When it comes to these videos. So welcome. Here we are again. This is the week of October 17th, since today's October 17th, but last week, the previous week. So
it's going to be October 10th.
The 10th through the 16th.
Yes,
is what we're talking about.
The title card is going to say October 10th.
Well, it's actually, you know what? I can vouch for it's not my fault because everybody screwed up wrestling this week. So that's not on me.
New Japan didn't. It was actually surprisingly nice for me.
New Japan didn't screw up. I meant time-wise, okay?
That's fair.
Yeah, so everybody shuffled things around. If we're really being honest, hockey ruined everything about wrestling this week.
That's true.
So,
you know what? Screw hockey.
Blame hockey.
We'll just blame the other sports we don't actually participate in.
Yeah.
So, that'll be fine. But welcome. I think we have quite a bit to talk about this week, actually.
Yeah.
Because a lot happened and a lot of, like, really good wrestling happened. And even though things got shuffled around a bit, I think having a wrestling show on a Saturday night, like, is definitely a different vibe, and we'll get to it when we get there. But it definitely doesn't feel like Wednesday wrestling. I will say that. So it feels a bit different. But because Monday is Monday, and we can continue to talk about the bad things. Let's talk about something good first. So, Vishal, would you like to why don't we just talk about the G1 right now?
Okay. Yeah. Right off the bat. So B Block it's the Okada and Jeff Cobb show, and I'm actually very interested in that because as it's set up right now, Jeff Cobb's freaking undefeated in the G1 and only has Okada left, and Okada lost to Tama Tonga in what was a genuinely really good match. And so now Okada is predictably going to win against Jeff Cobb next week, but it's an actually engaging match now. I didn't expect them to put over Jeff Cobb this well. He's going to come out of this with a spot at Wrestle Kingdom.
I really wish he wasn't in the faction he's in.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of wish he was like a lone gun. There's not many of those in New Japan. Like, you have to be a member of some faction.
Just Kota Ibushi.
Yeah, it's Kota. Mox doesn't have a faction.
Tanahashi's part of main unit, which is just like all the generic faces. So I guess Kota is
yeah,
too.
I thought Kota was part of main unit too.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, I'm learning
There's
something new.
Main units where all the classic faces of New Japan exist. You know, your Tanahashis, your Kota Ibushi's, your Satoshi Kojimas, your etc.
It's kind of like the non-faction faction. Like, I think Taguchi is technically part of it too.
Yeah, you have to be a face and you have to not be in another faction, and you're part of main unit by default.
Yeah. Like, I don't think Yano's
part of Chaos.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Fitting. Truly.
He's the most chaotic member of the promotion.
Yeah.
The G1 was like, I've finally started like watching the matches again, and it was really good. And then A Block is an absolute mess in the best way.
It sure is.
Because so I'm gonna go over this because New Japan like put up a like what everyone needs to win.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. So the finals of A Block are going to have Yano versus Ishii. Both of them are eliminated, but they're both going to put on a great match because they always do. They have Shingo versus Yujiro, where Shingo needs to win this match and then needs to have Zack Sabre Jr. and Kota Ibushi lose, and then he wins the G1. Yujiro is probably going to beat him. That's my prediction for this.
That is a startling conclusion.
It makes sense as this goes on, because next we have Zack Sabre Jr. and Tangaloa, and Zack Sabre Jr. needs to win, and he needs Kota Ibushi to win because he beat Ibushi. So he has the tiebreaker there. And that's pretty much it. It does not matter what Shingo does if Zack Sabre Jr. wins. And then finally, the finals of A Block will be Kota Ibushi versus Kenta. And first of all, whoever wins this match, whoever is in this match needs to win, obviously, to win the G1. Right. Ibushi needs Zack Sabre Jr. to lose. If he wins and Zack Sabre Jr. loses, he's good. For Kenta, if Shingo loses, he wins. So that's why I feel like Shingo and Zack Sabre Jr. are both going to lose so that this match really means something.
Yeah. I do have to say, Kenta and Kota Ibushi have been doing an awesome job of feuding on Twitter and only Twitter. I have yet to catch up with this most recent stuff from this weekend, but the whole thread of like what did the hashtag translate? Like Ibushi go to sleep?
Yeah.
Or like Ibushi go the fuck to sleep?
I'm a big fan of when Kota called Kenta NXT superstar Hideo Itami.
Yeah, it's so good. The Twitter work is so good.
Yeah, it's been a lot, but it's been
Kenta's
really entertaining.
just generally been, I think, the best Twitter person on New Japan's roster.
Yeah, for sure.
Just regularly.
And
so
I think,
it's very great to see him tracking everyone else.
Yeah, and I do think it's interesting that, like, I think he's just, like, that's kind of his character, but it is interesting that he was the one to come, or, like, to go from New Japan to NXT, or technically Noah to NXT, because I think he was in New Japan from time to time as a freelancer, but he wasn't signed before he went to NXT.
He was like in New Japan, but as a quote unquote enemy because he was a Noah guy through and through.
Yeah, like similar to Kota's excursions from DDT to NJPW when he was still signed in DDT. But yeah, I'm curious if he learned some of the social media stuff while he was at NXT.
Yeah,
because it
that
seems
would make
like
sense.
that is something.
Yeah,
that's like maybe the one thing that NXT and the Performance Center is actually really good at is teaching people how to use their social media.
Yeah.
Effectively.
Yeah.
Like that, you know, like I know I do not have to hand it to them, but that is like one thing that it seems like they're really good at, especially foreign talent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it seems like Kenta and Kota are going to square off. It would be anticlimactic if they built this like little rivalry up going on and they did not at least have a match.
Well, yeah, they are in the finals for A Block.
Yeah,
it's gonna be 30 minutes, and they both need to win it. I'm genuinely really excited for both G1 finals. I'm gonna see if I can watch them live.
Oh, New Japan reigniting the spark. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they really needed a G1 like this, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's turned out exceptionally well in almost every part. There's been one pretty significant frustration with the whole G1, but aside from that,
I think I described, you mentioned the match between Okada and Tama Tonga, and Tama using the Bloody Sunday to win the match, and I described Tama as the guy that just keeps all of his ex's stuff, because he likes to use these moves, and it's especially like OG Bullet Club stuff. So he like has like a machine gun.
His finisher
stuff.
is the gun stun. Like that is his regular finisher that he uses to end matches.
Yeah,
is Carl Anderson, who he's yelling at on Twitter pretty regularly.
I will say,
where are
they? Like, where are the Good Brothers? Because they defo haven't been in AEW,
and I don't think
they might be quarantining for a New Japan excursion.
It could be, yeah. That's where they were.
Have they been
go.
on Impact? Because I think they're tag champs.
No, I don't believe so.
No, they were only signed for 1 year, by the way, for Impact. So, like, I guess the idea was they would finish their Impact stuff and then go to New Japan. Which, go ahead. Nothing against them, really. I just don't think they gel I don't think they gel with the rest of the Elite. Because they were really never part of it. So there's always going to be like this doesn't make one thing.
Yeah,
they were there
with the Young Bucks and with Prince Devitt, but not with Kenny Omega.
Yeah, they were with Kenny while Kenny was a junior. Like there is
not with him.
There is history there, but the Elite, they were never part of the Elite. The Elite was formed as they were walking out the door. So that just doesn't gel. But regardless, I was just thinking about how weird it was that they kind of just have been like MIA, and I was like, where are they? But I think they probably are quarantining, because you don't start something like they started at the
Resurgence
show without moving that forward in some way, shape, or form.
So what happened on... I only looked up Impact because this is relevant. So the Good Brothers once again this comes from CageSideSeats.com, their recap.
Thank you.
The Good Brothers once again requested that Impact book Finn Juice versus Bullet Club in a #1 contender bout. Impact actually listened, and the match was announced for next week. The winners will wrestle the Good Brothers in a tag title bout at Bound for Glory.
Who's Bullet Club in this thing?
Them, I suppose.
No,
#1. Oh, Chris Bay and Jay White, probably?
No,
Oh.
Jay is no longer doing Impact stuff.
What's Jay doing?
Jay's just been around, like, so doing some of the New Japan Strong shows.
Oh, he's doing NJPW Strong, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, another thing, I haven't gotten to it. We'll get to it on the Saturday portion of the show. Buddy Matthews debuted in New Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very excited to see what he does there.
Hikuleo is part of Bullet Club.
Oh, right. Okay. He went over to Impact.
Yeah. I forgot Hikuleo was still in America.
Well, he showed up and he fought Lance Archer that one time.
Mm-hmm. He's a big guy.
He is. He's very tall. So G1, I mean, I'll give New Japan credit. Their roster's been bereft for a while now. And they've been really adrift. So having the G1 actually be something to watch, and like it always does produce great matches, but like to have the actual like tournament come down to like actually enthralling, like, oh, what could happen or like what should happen here is good. So credit to them. I'll see where we go from the G1 and whoever wins. And Monday was Monday.
Must be Monday.
It must be Monday.
So just really quick, the trio that is in Impact right now as Bullet Club is Chris Bay, ELP, and Hikuleo.
Okay.
Taji Ishimori is still in the US, but I don't know that he's been on Impact. He's just been on New Japan Strong, it looks like.
How many members of Bullet Club are there now?
Too many.
Taji Ishimori is the Bone Soldier, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I keep forgetting ELP is a member of Bullet Club. So.
Oh, yeah. He's Canadian.
He is Canadian. But it must be Monday, and it must mean that we have more matches for the Great Queen's Crown Tournament.
Yeah, I know nothing about what's going on other than, like, all the matches, I think in total added up to under 8 minutes.
Under 8 minutes for the women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like 8,
Shayna
8
beat
minutes,
Dana
12
Brooke.
seconds.
No one's surprised. Doudrop beat Natalya. No one's surprised. It's gonna be Shayna versus Carmella, I think.
Yeah, and I do think Alex Pulowski over at Fightful Sour Graps says he thinks it'll be Natalya. It'll be Carmella. So it can be just like one more thing. She can be Queen Carmella or Queen Mella or whatever. Which sounds like as solid a direction as any.
I mean, if it gets her another gimmick that's not I'm the most beautiful woman in WWE.
Yeah.
Then
yeah. It sounds like something that fits Carmella, but also I really do want to see Shayna Baszler just keep murdering people.
Oh, yeah, because then she can be the Queen of Spades or whatever.
That's what she is already.
Yeah, like, and then it's like, oh, I have the crown to back it up. But yeah, I don't know. I have this habit, I don't know why, of getting Natalya and Natty and Carmella mixed up.
Those couldn't be any separate people. But yeah, that's
I don't know why
that one.
They occupy the same space in my brain. Like, I know they're two separate people. I just like
wild.
Yeah, my brain is away sometimes.
I don't even know what the hell. Like, what? I think Woods had a match. I think Xavier Woods had a match.
Woods won the first round of his King of the Ring stretch. He's going to go to the finals because the next person he's facing is Jinder.
Yeah. Well,
and we're not doing Finn versus Jinder in Saudi Arabia.
Rosita, that's a pen.
Well, I mean, I don't know anymore. Vishal. I just don't know.
It's gonna be Balor versus Woods, and I think Balor's gonna turn heel and win it, or Woods is gonna win it, and I'm happy with either outcome.
Well, yeah, because that's the thing where Xavier was like coveting the crown, right? And then Jinder put it on top of his head, and he looked like King Richard in Disney's Robin Hood.
King John.
Or King
John. Richard's the good one. Don't mess that up.
Sorry, Little John. That's it.
Yeah. That was it was inexplicable.
It's also a huge ass crown that could
it's
fit
really
no
big.
Human person.
I hope if whoever wins it, they do fix that.
I'm hoping. The only thing I'm hoping
wear it like a belt.
The only thing I'm hoping is like maybe if it's big, like it can go on top of Xavier Woods' hair. Like that's what I'm hoping, but I don't think WWE thinks like that.
We'll see. I didn't even tune in this week. I don't really know what I was doing, but I wasn't doing that. I tell you that much.
Yeah, I mostly just check Reddit and occasionally Cage Side Seats recaps for what's happening on Raw.
Yeah. At this point, it would have almost been better for them to not have the Queen's Crown tournament for as disgraceful as it's kind of like ended up being.
Yeah. And the thing is, I am glad, like, obviously AEW is not without merited criticism in terms of their booking and presentation of the women's division. But I am glad that the Queen's Crown tournament and the way that they've booked that has kind of laid bare the fact that WWE is not without their problems too, and in fact is worse in some regards. Because for a while, like the real strength of the women's divisions in WWE was NXT's women's division, and now they're booking that like all the rest of the women's divisions, and it kind of lays bare just how poorly they handle their women and their gimmicks and the character development.
Yeah.
Especially when you have, things like the way they're presenting Toxic Attraction and continue to present Toxic Attraction on NXT.
We'll get to that.
I'm just saying, like, I think it's at least worth recognizing, like, hey, as much as WWE tries to pull the wool over the audience's eyes by booking like one person well, it doesn't fix the problems with the booking in the rest of the division.
Yeah. Like there's still like a very different, like Becky, Sasha, Bayley, like they're all up here, and then everyone else is below, much further below, and they don't get the same kind of treatment. So
well, even Becky, it's like
I don't even want to talk about what they've done with Becky.
All I know is she had cool shoes on this week, and that's that's thanks to the wrestling sneakers or whatever Twitter. She had these cool Adidas's with like wings on them.
Like if all else fails, I guess wear cool shoes.
Yeah, if you're gonna be booked as this weird heel character, at least wear the shoes to back it up.
Yeah, that's one thing that I do know. What happened on BTE this week? Well, the payoff of John Silver and Alex Reynolds messing with Adam Cole, we did get some payoff on Dynamite this week, so I won't go into it.
That continues to happen.
That just proves that BTE is the AEW's A show.
Oh, the Blue Meanie showed up to help Leva Bates and talk to her about her conflicted feelings about Alex Reynolds versus
Peter
Avalon, and just feeling blue in general. And it's just really fun. I have no emotional attachment to the Blue Meanie, but that's kind of the fun of having a YouTube show is like Blue Meanie gave her this whole speech about sometimes being blue means like sometimes like you just have to be blue and let yourself feel the blue or whatever. Ryan Nemeth continues to do like weird like takes on different media. Now his in kayfabe girlfriend is broken up with him, and so he made this video to like try to convince her that he had totally moved on. I don't know.
Yeah, some weird stuff going on there with Ryan, the old Ryan Nemeth.
You know, the Elite shopped for shoes. Hangman got the letter in his bed, in his blanket fort.
Yeah, Hangman was in his bed with all the pillows surrounding him, and then he got a letter.
His wife goes, "Hey babe, letter for you," and like chucks it at him.
Got his letter telling him he had to come back, that all his PTO ran out and he had to come back to work.
Like the HR department was working something out, so they're like, "Please consider this your formal like demand, your summons or whatever." And he pulled out the Joker, and it was a Joker with like anthro fur like horse illustration.
Yes.
Like twerking.
Yes, it was very strange. It was a strange thing.
You know, it's completely, Adam does have a really good, Adam Page has a good sense of humor. It was funny. So I think that was like the main
thing that happened.
Main highlights, yeah.
BTE.
And then there was NXT.
Did you Michelle, did you end up watching any NXT?
I haven't been watching NXT, but again, I've actually been following the recaps for this week, and it seems like, I don't know, the North American title situation is weird, but honestly, in context, I think it would be even weirder if Santos Escobar kidnapped Swerve's friends and then won the title, and then Swerve left.
And then never got his friends back.
Yeah, like, that would be bizarre. So I actually think it's frustrating to me as someone who really likes Santos Escobar, that title, but I do think that Carmelo Hayes getting the North American Championship was something that needed to happen sooner or later.
Yeah.
Because that title should be for kind of newer blood at NXT. And I'm excited to see what he does with it, with this kind of, I guess not heel, but mean gimmick that he's doing. Everyone's being mean these days.
The new hotness is just being mean.
Yeah.
True.
I agree with you, Vishal, but like, to give Santos this entire feud with Swerve and then like for nothing to have paid off in the end for any of it, like, feels a little weird, especially because they're all going to SmackDown. So
yeah, I'm curious what the plan is for Legado del Fantasma, because they still haven't won the tag team championships yet, which, bizarre. They did just get Elektra Lopez on the faction, so I'm curious if she's going to bring something there. I genuinely don't know. And yeah, Santos Escobar isn't exactly young, especially for the current NXT standards, so I don't know what they have planned for him, since 205 Live doesn't.
It's not 205 Live, it's kilograms. It's anything live now.
Yeah. It's
they'll just put anything on there.
No rules, just right live. I mean, it's basically like, it's kind of like SmackDown's main event, isn't it?
It's on the same day. I think it's on Friday.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, it's main event, or it's Superstars, or it's whatever you want to call it. They just still call it 205 Live for now.
So main event is is taped with Raw, and then so 205 Live is taped with SmackDown. Is how that works. It's weird. It's bad. Nobody likes it.
Nobody likes it.
But it is what it is.
I continue to be less than enthused about Toxic Attraction.
Yeah. They managed to like suck the life out of Gigi Dolan. Like, cause she is someone that was super, super exciting. And I knew I was worried that was gonna happen. But then when it was old NXT 1.0, if you will, like, she still seemed like she was getting some really interesting, like, in-ring kind of characterization. Like, not through promos or anything, but, like, in her entrance and everything. And then NXT 2.0 rolls around. They stick her in this faction. And all of the promos sound like this, and it's so painful.
It's hard to listen to.
Not only is Mandy Rose just not a good promo, I think it's certainly not helped by the fact that it's like all of the WWE universe has to listen to me speaking like this in the ring. And it's just like, oh my God. Shoot me.
JCJ needs to learn how to needs to tell the lady who does her makeup in the back that she has a hooded eye shape and shouldn't be wearing certain colors in the crease of her eye.
Yeah, it's hard to describe in words other than Charlie just said, but the makeup that they have for JC Jane is just not good. It makes her look weird.
Yeah.
And now they have, though also the weird thing is, like, now Gigi Dolan is, like, the tomboy of the group. Like, they have her in, like, mid-2000s, like, tank top and cargo pants. Which is just, like, it's a weird vibe. Like, they give the promo, and then they walk out, and as someone else's music starts playing.
Oh, the weirdest thing that's happened is all of the segments are running together.
Yeah.
So Ciampa's in the ring, and then not Ciampa, but
Joe Gacy.
Joe Gacy's in the ring doing his weird stuff, and then suddenly,
so Joe Gacy walks out, and non-Brock Parker Bordeaux, formerly Parker Bordeaux, I don't know what his new name is.
Harlan.
Jesus Christ. Like, chokes Joe Gacy out as Joe Gacy, like, gives him this weird...
He touches his face, put his hands, and he just smiles. And then he runs, and then Parker Bordeaux runs away. He straight up just runs away.
He runs away, and then, like, those people, like, exit stage as Toxic Attraction is coming on stage. Toxic Attraction gives their promo that I just said. Then they leave, and then, like, this new guy's music and entrance is hitting.
They're still in the ring when the guy's music is hitting and he's walking out.
And I thought it's gonna be like, oh, they're gonna start manipulating men or something now.
Yeah,
like,
it felt like it was
interesting.
It felt like it was the same segment. It felt like what would happen if, like, I was cutting a promo and, like, my rival came out to, like, interrupt me. That's how close together it was. But no,
it's
totally separate things.
It's like when you watch a, like, overture at a like a Broadway musical, like an old school Broadway musical where they do snippets of all the musical numbers together and like go from place to place on the stage, or like fucking Macy's Day Parade where the musical numbers just run together. Like, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
It felt like that, where it's just like, it's a little like bits of hors d'oeuvres of matches, but this is just the program. This is just the product now.
Yeah.
And it's so bizarre because, like, the whole point to me of, like, someone's entrance music playing is they're entering the ring or they're making an interruption. And WWE has been consistent with that throughout their time. Like, that's the one thing they haven't fucked up. It's like, when entrance music for someone hits, it matters. And then NXT 2.0 is like,
none of that.
What if
Actually,
nothing matters?
I do want to just quickly say that they've done this before on WWE. It was exceptionally bad during the man era for Becky, when she was Becky Two Belts. She would just interrupt every single person's promos, and it got to a point where literally the entirety of Raw was bleeding into itself.
Oh no!
Just every single segment led to the next one without there being any actual connection between them. Exactly what you're describing, basically.
Well,
and kind of shows who's producing the show.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what's the common denominator there is who's producing the show. So, Lord, it's difficult to watch because of that, and because of just everything. Like,
Ciampa was in the ring because he beat the shit out of Joe Gacy.
Yeah,
I was right.
Small miracles, you know.
Well, no, see, here's the thing, because, like, I thought about it too. It's like, oh, Ciampa's here to beat the shit out of the guy we hate, which would be fine if the guy we hated wasn't being represented in, like, such a way that was like, oh, this man who's a heel talks about how inclusion is good and there should be safe spaces. but he's the bad guy, so let's beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
That
there
feels
was
bad.
one thing, I can't remember what it was, but there was one thing that they had him say because I was like, oh, Ciampa's here, like let's give it a shot or something. And there was something they had him say which was clearly just like, we did like some light machine learning on Twitter to mine the like top Twitter words or something. And it was, I can't remember what it was.
It was a play off of Gaslight, Gatekeep, Girl Boss.
Oh my god, yeah, the tweet that they did.
Yeah.
That was Gaslight, Gatekeep, Gacy was a tweet the NXT Twitter made.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was inexplicable. And the worst part is, so like, here's something interesting. The one demo NXT is doing super well in is the 50 plus demo. So what's
gotta get that boomer, those boomers.
Well, so what's interesting is it is like because the problem is the Fox News demographic, anything that they think will stick it to the libs is something that they will watch and try to support. But virtue signaling isn't a thing. That's only something the dirty SJWs do. So I would 1,000% believe that they would tune into NXT 2.0 because they think Joe Gacy is like the caliber of content that NXT 2.0 has and the way it's politically aligned. So, and the way that he's talking definitely reads as something that boomers think people on Twitter talk like. Because it wasn't even that. There was another word that he used that was just like completely being used wrong and in a wrong context and everything. And it was just like, it's so bad. Like, it's a small consolation that Ciampa gets to beat him up. But not that big of a consolation.
Yeah. It's a whole ass mess, as I would like to say. I don't know.
Oh yeah, and then this Zion Quinn.
That's who interrupted Toxic Attraction.
Yeah.
Interrupted Toxic Attraction.
He had been on NXT either once before or on a house show. I looked it up, like he hadn't really been on NXT proper, but he just kind of like rolled in. So yeah. They seem to be giving him like a weird, like he's presented as someone that matters with the capital M. But again, like the problem is no one sticks out. Ivy Nile.
Oh yeah.
Jobbed someone, like squashed someone. She's got a cool look, but it was a squash.
The Diamond Mine might be the most valuable thing outside of Ciampa in NXT 2.0. But and I don't know. Like every week, it's almost like this is not my beautiful house.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Von Wagner is making doe eyes at Kyle O'Reilly.
Oh no, Von Wagner and Kyle. Oh.
Von Wagner's like, I'm the only friend you have, Kyle.
Said exactly like that. Yep.
Okay, this is very funny though.
It is. It is. Like,
but I'm just like, oh, Kyle.
No, nothing against Von Wagner's, whoever is Von Wagner in shoot. I'm sure he's very, very nice. He looks like a Cro-Magnon man. Like, I can't get over it. Like, he looks like, he just looks like every a caveman from a Geico commercial. And there's things that they could do visually to make that not the case. But as we've established, the NXT 2.0 costuming budget is zilch.
Yeah. So what I would assume is the intent is for him to look like that because he's really just an innocent boy who wants Kyle O'Reilly to be his friend.
So this is what Cage Side Seats has to say. NXT is telling a story with Kyle O'Reilly that I like. This is a guy who understandably doesn't want to trust anyone and be a part of anything anymore. Very similar to what another company did with a certain angsty cowboy. Is it? Is it?
Okay, comparing. Okay, in one universe, Kyle O'Reilly's story could have played out as good as Hangman's did. This one ain't it.
Von Wagner is doing all he can to open up Kyle's heart to let him in just a little bit. This match was about more than just exercising the Pete Dunne and Ridge Holland demons. Von Wagner needed to prove his loyalty and reliability to Kyle.
But commentary can't tell you can't tell you anything
What
about
happened?
why Kyle feels this way. So it's fine.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Chase U continues to exist.
Oh yeah.
Which is like, it's funny because like in like AEW, that's the weirdest thing to me. In AEW, something like a skinny beanpole of a man running around in a Harvard-ass sweater and slacks saying, Chase U, I'll teach you how to be a winner. Like, I could see someone completely working. Like, but the problem is NXT 2.0 also kind of holds all their talent, like, other than, like, the Braun Breakers in the division, like, everyone is kind of equal. Like, no one feels like they're getting more of a push or is bigger of a deal or whatever. So you're just supposed to believe that Chase is obviously a loser, but you're supposed to also believe he can kind of hang with everyone. It's just bizarre.
That's not the case. Also, Duke Hudson, star of the NXT Breakout Tournament, which was perhaps the last best thing that happened outside of Johnny Gargano and everything there. His gimmick is now he is a poker player. That is his gimmick.
Oh god, that vignette.
He just plays poker now. And they trademarked Duke's Poker Room this week.
That was the
Okay.
look. Remember how I said NXT 2.0's budget is zilch? This like felt like, you know, the really bad like
felt like
BTE
Impact.
or vlog segments.
It felt like Impact.
No, it's worse than that. It feels like someone that filmed something on their cell phone camera.
The big Sammy's vlog energy.
Yeah, well, Sammy's vlog is actually good. This was bad. Apparently I missed this, but apparently there was a Julius Creed said he stays strapped. So there was like, okay, AEW's gonna do a gun double entendre. We can too. All right.
It wasn't a double entendre at AEW.
No, it
Arn
was
just
just
said he
Arn.
was going to pull out a Glock.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, that's true.
Arn was full in on that one, which that saga's only gotten stranger.
Oh yeah. And then Indy Hartwell's having trouble wrestling because she's having too much sex with Dexter Lumis.
This is the real NXT 2.0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like how the cage side seats thing that I'm using to remember what even happened had the subtitle, "Do kids love poker?" ?
Do they? I thought that like the trend of like celebrity poker whatever was over like 5 to 6 years ago, but
I don't know, man.
maybe not.
Again, what demographic are they pandering to? Because if it's the boomers, then I will believe that the Texas Hold'em tournaments that are constantly on ESPN 3 or whatever, like that's the vibe they're going for. Because I'm sure there's people that watch that.
Yeah.
Some people watch poker like they watch golf, like other people watch golf.
Mm-hmm.
So I did not realize this, but Lash Legend, this NXT person that I think was at the tail end of NXT 1.0 and now has kind of been brought over and remolded or molded more in NXT 2.0, apparently was an NBA or WNBA basketball player, Nicole something, if I'm remembering correctly. But anyway, Lash Legend now has her own talk show, like big daytime talk show energy.
Big The View energy.
Yeah, Big The View, or like there's another woman that I am forgetting that a lot of like gifts and stuff come from. But anyway, like that energy. So so while she's doing like she did the whole talk show bit, it's whatever. Like she's not bad. It's just like I don't think the material that they're giving her is that good. But then again, I'm not very high on NXT 2.0 in general. It's kind of like, and her look is on fleek. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of energy. Again, it's just like very much like written by someone that doesn't get it. But the one thing that was good was while this was filming, Tony D'Angelo is in the back lot of the show, and he's got his Mercedes, and so he cuts a promo in front of this Mercedes in like his hat and like a jacket or whatever, like a kind of suit jacket, and so he kidnapped
the producer for the show.
Yeah,
and he had him in the trunk. You know, just casual murderous things that are continuing to go on.
Yeah, like I don't know why it happened.
Do we need to have a reason for anything anymore?
No.
Doesn't sound like
we
it.
don't.
Yeah.
Apparently Cage Side Seats love this episode, so.
Well, good for the person who watched Cage Side Seats, who writes Cage Side Seats.
Again, like, I'm sure if you are tuning in to be minimally entertained, then NXT 2.0 does it. But as someone that, like, when comparing the two products, like NXT 1.0 versus 2.0, there's really, like, no comparison to me. Like, they also thought Mandy Rose was a good promo, and this was one of the best promos she'd ever given. So, you know, maybe I'm out of touch. I don't know, but
maybe we're just out of touch. Maybe we're just wrong. Yeah.
Like, I'll leave that. You know, maybe there's someone that loves this. Clearly there is, that got an A- on Cage Side Seats. I frankly cannot stand it. I think it's inferior in every way to NXT 1.0. I think it's embarrassing how they're treating the women. And completely in line with the way that the rest of WWE product treats their women. Maybe even worse, because it feels like a weird throwback to like the mid-2000s. But that's where I'm at.
Mikey shoots hard on NXT 2.0.
Listen, like it, you know, it wasn't my 1.0 wasn't my favorite thing like it was yours, Vishal. I just like, you know, I like some of it, not as much as others. But it was still pretty good. It's disappointing to go from that to this.
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't realize how much I kind of didn't realize how much I liked 1.0 until
you didn't have it
until I started hate watching 2.0.
As they say, you don't know what you've got until it's gone.
Yeah, I literally was only watching
and this is why I have a deep-seated resentment of AEW and will forever.
It wasn't AEW's fault, Vishal.
It was AEW's fans' fault. I'm just gonna say that.
Okay, well, but if Tommaso Ciampa comes to AEW...
No, Vishal has a deep-seated hatred of AEW tribalist fans.
Yes.
Yes, not the promotion as a whole, because you know, it gave us some nice things.
It's the only
today.
promotion I regularly watch. Of course I like them.
But no, tribalism on both sides is nauseating at best. So
for sure.
I
will say that Tony Khan went a little off the rails this week.
He Tony Khan drank a little too much coffee.
Yeah, he got into the sugar. Somebody got him.
Maybe he put some pre-workout in his
Oh
coffee.
yeah, maybe he got hopped up on that V-Trigger pre-workout. You know,
which they all seem to be drinking backstage because everyone's got a bottle of yellow stuff.
Yeah,
and it sure is. It isn't piss, no matter what they call it on BTE.
Yeah.
And the V-Trigger workout is lemon head flavored, so you know, put 2 and 2 together is what I'm saying.
Yeah, WWE decided that they were going to try to cut Rampage off for some reason.
I don't know why.
Forcing their viewers to change channels, because that's how you keep ratings up, by making people change channels.
Yeah, like we'll do a third hour of SmackDown. We'll put it on fucking FS1.
The whole show was on FS1.
Most of y'all don't even have
show.
FS1. But if you have it, you could watch the extra half hour of SmackDown, I guess.
Yeah,
and
commercial free.
Commercial free.
And Tony Khan basically just started screaming about how he makes more money than Vince. Sorry, not makes more money, has more
More
money
money,
than Vince.
yeah.
That's a key distinction, I think. Because,
Correct.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So he's like, it's literally Captain America. I can do this all day.
He was basically like, if you don't want commercials, I can afford to not have commercials longer than you can, Vince. See ya.
It was extremely entertaining, I will say, like, because every time I saw something like an escalation of this, I was like, Tony.
I only ever saw Tony Khan's responses and never the WWE announcements that he was responding to. So it was just a
That's very
series
funny.
of like angrier and angrier proclamations at the company. And I was like, this is like, I'm very happy for you that you're so confident in what you're doing that you could just go off like this. But what?
Well,
I think we should really quickly mention what we did end up watching on Wednesday, since there was no AEW Dynamite, because
what did we do on Wednesday?
the
I
Halloween
didn't watch
Havoc.
anything.
Oh, that's right. I streamed.
Oh yeah, you put that on, yeah.
I watched 1992's Halloween Havoc, and let me tell you.
I feel like we should mention the finish.
Let me tell you that the spin the wheel and make a deal match that was a coal miner's glove match between Sting and Jake.
So
Sting?
Wait,
And-
explain a coal miner's glove match to me.
Okay. So the coal miner's glove match is there is a glove that is on a pole in the corner of the ring. First person, and that glove has it's got steel inlined in it.
it's like a fancy oven mitt.
It does look like a fancy oven mitt, a dangerous fancy oven mitt. By the way, this spin the wheel make a deal coal miner's glove match was unsanctioned. It was also
Well, it would
unsanctioned.
have to be.
Yeah. So basically, it was Jake the Snake Roberts versus Sting in this coal miner's glove match. The pole was too big. I think it was too big for what was going on. So they both had to climb this really tall pole to get to the glove. What ended up happening is as Sting was climbing the pole, Cactus Jack ran in and gave Jake a bag with a snake in it. He pulls out this snake, and then it bites him in the face, Vishal.
Well, so it's even weirder than that. So, first of all, the spin the wheel part, the wheel was not gimmicked.
No, this was a complete, it was just shoot.
They
So-
put the match together on the fly, yeah.
Yeah, well, no. So they wanted it to be the I don't think it was fully a shoot. I think they wanted the coal miner on a pole match, coal miner's glove on a pole match. So they had to like spin it and then like kind of like nudge it to make it go to the place that it was or something. And then so Jake takes out the snake. The finish is supposed to be like Jake gets bitten so he can't, but he couldn't get the snake to bite
him.
So he was just holding it here, and eventually he did manage to get it
to bite him.
to like nick him. And then so he's like, ah, because he's like choking the snake to make it
Yeah, it was
try
a lot.
to bite him.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And he's like yelling and like walking all the way up the ramp as this snake is like on his face. It
And
was
nobody, like, it's impossible to tell what's going on.
it was inexplicable.
It was hilarious though to watch.
Yeah, it was.
So
It was a lot. So we streamed that. I
it
streamed
wasn't
that.
very spooky.
It wasn't very spooky. The spookiest thing about Halloween Havoc 1992 was the entrance, like the intro. That was
I
pretty
did see that.
Yeah, you did
Yeah.
see that. Yeah. That was pretty good. So that's what we did on Wednesday since we didn't have an AEW Dynamite. And then Tony Khan Tony Khan was like, "Hey, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's do the damn thing. Let's just do Minoru Suzuki versus Bryan Danielson."
yeah.
On free YouTube, yeah.
On free YouTube.
Yeah, so I don't know if this is real or not, but the way Suzuki said, like, he was at trying to find, like, what beachside resort or whatever was nice, like, up on the northern eastern coast or wherever he is, and then they called him and they're like, "Hey, so can you fly to Miami?" And he's like, "Sure, I'll take the money."
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's just what this entire tour is he's just waiting for people to call him because he
Yeah.
will wrestle at the indiest promotion in the country.
Yeah,
just
and
for a quick buck. And I don't mean this in a disparaging way. He's just having so much fun wrestling literally everyone.
And the thing is, like, he knows that people like have an appreciation for him. So it's like, because seeing him come out for the GCW matches that I watched, like, he was having a blast. Like, the fact, because, and I think I mentioned this last week, like, a lot of the energy is similar to the smaller shows that NJPW does that they can't do right now. Like, you can't do the nothing venue in the middle of like northern Japan because it's just not feasible. Like, you can't have the social distancing requirements.
Yeah.
And it would be like 5 people if you have limited capacity.
Clapping.
Right? So and that is some of like the most interesting G1 matches happen in those smaller venues normally. So, you get that same energy. Because I do think, like, he kind of thrives on it. Like, he's clearly enjoying it, so. But yeah, so, I guess we should start with the buy-in, then.
Actually, let's start with SmackDown, because I'm pretty sure we can all acknowledge none of us watched SmackDown this week.
No, I did not. Nope,
because Rampage was doing a pretty big thing. And so I've pulled up the CBS Sports recap.
Yeah, tell me what happened on SmackDown.
So, first of all, I have heard pretty much unanimously, and I went back and watched the match, and it's accurate that Becky versus Sasha was absolutely incredible. Like, if you're going to give one match on the show, no commercials in a 30-minute time slot, that's the one to do it. They wrestled their asses off. I wish they would do this regularly.
Yep.
Aside from that, Edge cut a really good promo on Seth, threatening to scar his soul in Hell in a Cell.
I did see that.
I do want to say this, and I'm a little disappointed that I think Edge did a really great job, and I'm really kind of pissed off that this Hell in a Cell's at Crown Jewel.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be on TV, but yeah, it's at Crown Jewel. That's annoying.
Yeah.
Finn Balor beat Sami Zayn. That happened.
Can I just
Sorry, go ahead, Mikey.
Really quickly? I am glad that Edge is keeping the mystique of the Hell in the Cell alive.
Yeah.
If he's the only person doing it at WWE,
bless.
Because it certainly does feel that way. And, like, he,
Edge is like, I almost died in here.
Yeah, well, it's literally like back in my day, Hell in a Cell used to mean something. And, that has been probably the biggest criticism of Hell in a Cell and TLC, at least the way that WWE does it right now, where they're their own pay-per-view, is it
not
feels...
This year.
Well, not this year. Right, not this year. But it had been, like, last year, it just felt like nothing. And then, obviously there was 2019? Like, it was just terrible. So
Seth Rollins' last Hell in a Cell, like, ruined his career for a little bit.
Yeah. So, at least Edge is trying to do the work, God bless him, of building it back up. So. Oh yeah,
Roman and Brock did a contract signing for Crown Jewel, and they didn't get physical, and I don't understand why WWE thinks everyone loves contract signings.
It's like a trope now for them, because then they have the wrestlers come out and like cut promos about how the contract signing is like a trope. Have you seen them do that? They're like, someone's gonna come out and you think I'm gonna flip the table or like beat you up. It's whatever. Yeah.
Oh, Brock did say that Paul Heyman was his advocate.
All right. So it's stirring the pot still. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm, again, like, criticisms of Roman, a lot of criticisms of Brock, a lot of criticisms of hogging this main event scene for so long. This is a really good feud, and I'm frustrated that it's paying off at Crown Jewel, because this would be a really fun, like, TLC match or whatever.
Yeah. Like a blow off or something.
And I held this off for last because I think we're all going to be surprised by this one, that Zelina Vega beat Carmella in the semifinals of the Queen's Crown tournament and is going to Saudi Arabia.
Oh.
Are they going to give it to Zelina?
I don't know. I still think it's Shayna, because I think Shayna massacres Doudrop, and I think Shayna just kind of beats up Zelina.
So Carmella's totally out now.
Yes, she's done. Yeah. I was very surprised by that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did see that Zelina got a new Naruto tattoo, and her gear for the match was incredible.
Very frustrating that none of the ladies are going to be able to wear any of their gear at Crown Jewel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Let's wrestle in double XL t-shirts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Finn Balor's going to Saudi Arabia. We'll find out who the other finalists for both tournaments are tomorrow on Raw.
And apparently the Street Profits and the Usos had a match that was pretty darn good too.
Yeah, the Street Profits are, I think, the most underrated tag team at... Oh, no, the Viking Experience is the most underrated tag team at WWE. But the Street Profits are really good, and I hope that they can get some mojo back now that they're moving to Raw.
Yeah. Anyway, we didn't watch any
Dr.
of that.
Dr. Pepper ASMR.
No, yeah. This was all the CBS Sports recap of SmackDown because none of us watched it because AEW said, screw you, we have Bryan Danielson versus Minoru Suzuki instead.
Yep. There were a couple other things on the buy-in. So, Conte versus Santana Garrett was like a really just fun opening match.
It was a very petty shot from Tournie as well because it was one of the matches on NXT during one of the very few weeks NXT beat AEW.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. I mean,
it was deliberate. There's a reason he got Santana Garrett for it.
I mean, it was really good.
I had a good time watching it. Yeah, it was like a good opener.
Yeah.
Oh goodness, I'm losing.
Bobby Fish fought Lee Moriarty.
Yes.
Incredible.
In a very good match, and Lee Moriarty is gonna go far at AEW.
Yeah, I love Lee. There hadn't really been a chance to see him since he's been on AEW stuff, unless you're one of the people that watches like every Dark and Dark Elevation or whatever. So, and like I've said, like I just don't have time, even though I know that there's some matches on there that are really great. I just don't have time to go back and watch all of that stuff, like, because it's, 3 or 4 hours Monday and Tuesday. Like, that's just a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like not clear what is going to be like, what is, an A match versus what's like a B match or whatever.
Like what could have a blow off on a Dynamite and what couldn't move over there.
Yeah, and that's no shade to people that really enjoy those shows. The way my ADHD functions, that kind of shit is just hell for me. So I love Lee Moriarty. He's an incredible graphic designer and artist as well as a wrestler. And he had like a lot of really cool Joshi wrestling inspired moves, which like I know Joshi is not for everyone, or like some people might not be aware of it or whatever, but everything I have heard says like the 90s and late 80s era of Joshi wrestling was some of the most inventive as far as moves and sequences. So he took some moves and sequences that were initiated by some of the big stars of Joshi wrestling in like Women's All Japan or something. And it was just a really, really great match, like all the way around. It showed why Bobby Fish, like, if you had any questions about why they signed Bobby Fish, I think it's pretty evident by that match. Because not only can he go, like, he's just very dynamic in the ring and can kind of wrestle anyone. It seems like to me.
And he did this week.
Yeah, it was just a great match.
So tell us, Vishal, why Suzuki versus Bryan Danielson is your favorite AEW match.
Yeah, so it turns out at the end of the day, what I really, really, really want in wrestling is just two people trying to kill each other.
So
that's first of all, that's every Suzuki match. It's him trying to kill someone and the other person trying to survive. And Danielson, I think, still isn't 100%, isn't giving it 100% of what he's got at AEW. I think he's still leaving a pretty good amount in the tank for the future. And even then, I feel like just this match against Suzuki, he proved that he's not just doing the grappling technical stuff. He can hit people really hard. And sometimes I really want that. And when Danielson versus Suzuki started, that was literally all I wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved how he refused to give Suzuki what he wanted. Because Suzuki's like a glutton for pain. Like when he's like, oops, sorry, I bumped the mic. And he's like, it's time for chops. Like he wants that exchange of chops. And Daniel was like, no, I'm going to punch you. I'm going to give you a high shin kick. Like I'm going to do everything I could possibly do to just.
Yeah, I don't think he threw a single chop in that match.
No.
And I was quite terrified of the forearm that took Bryan down. I was like,
yeah.
Oh no, that's so scary.
And there were some brilliant kickouts that Suzuki did too, like where he just like lift a shoulder and then like roll it and kind of get up, or like there was one that he used to leverage like getting out of the ring and then do a walk around, and you know, then Bryan's like, fine, I'll fucking fight you out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was. And then the other great thing was like the yes chants turning into C
chants, yes.
Yeah.
They were in
the
Miami
crowd for Rampage was fantastic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure.
It really just says to me that like I don't know how feasible it is, but please stop taping Rampage after your Dynamite shows.
Yeah, because even Dynamite for a Saturday night like felt better.
Yeah.
Than it has. Like the two shows felt more equal in energy.
Yeah.
Than it has for having the back to back.
Yeah. And even like Bryan versus like Bryan's just coming out here and he's like, here's what my matches are. I'm just gonna do basically everything I can to like give you everything you want. And it's been really fun. Like there's a lot of like hidden like history in like when Bryan fought Nick, it was a lot of callbacks to like the Bucks facing him at PWG, like Nick on the floor and taking those kicks one after the other, like, and then like having that reversed. It was like a reversal of what it had been the first time. So there's like a lot of cool stuff you can like go back and mine. A good friend of mine wrote an article about it.
Over
about
at Wrestling.
Yeah, over at Wrestling about all of that whole history. And the Bucks reached out to them and said it was a really good like read, and thank you so much for writing it. And that was nice. And the Bucks now follow them on Twitter, which is mildly terrifying considering that they retweet me all the time. But anyway, Rampage was great. Afterward too, I actually really liked CM Punk versus Matt Sydal. Like maybe you're kind of, you like vary on how you feel about that, but I like that Punk comes out and does a different style match every time he fights somebody.
Yeah, I also I didn't know that much about, like, Matt Sydal is interesting to me, but he's just kind of like, he's like the lettuce that just kind of is in the sandwich for texture. And the more components of the sandwich are more interesting to me. But I did like how they did the footage from IWA of Punk and Sydal like wrestling way to give it more emotional weight, because that helped me get into the match, and I think that was really great, especially given it was that was still on the that was the commercial free match you got. That was the opener to Rampage. Right. Yeah, that's it. So I really like that, but I think the video package was on the buy-in. Yeah, the video package for it was on the buy-in. Yeah. It was the stuff that was on the road to YouTube stuff. Yeah, but it was really good. Like, honestly, I don't think it needs to happen for every Rampage, but having a half an hour to an hour buy-in for Rampages from time to time, when merited, I think could be really interesting. Or just have like, I think it could also make those, if they record Rampage separate from Dynamite, it could make that Rampage a better show. Yeah. Because then it feels like you're getting your money's worth. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The Bunny versus Ruby, I like that. It was kind of like weird finish, but it was short and to the point, and I'm liking the fact that like we're getting these matches, and even if they're not like 15-minute matches, they are stringing together several stories for the ladies. There's like at least 4 or 5 stories for the women's division going on concurrently right now. So I'm all for that.
And then our main event, I tuned right out for. So I had no compunction about wanting to see the MMA people versus the Inner Circle, even though I think the MMA people have value. It's just not for me. Like, so
Yeah.
I don't really care.
I think that the whole American Top Team thing has gotten significantly better since they've started actually beating people up and not just having Dan Lambert call everyone soy boys.
Yeah, well, because then it's also like
it's putting your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, and the thing I dislike about WWE is the constant segments that never amount to anything, and you're just like rehashing the same thing like several weeks in a row, and the American Top Team had felt like that, and it's like maybe the most like, but now that we're actually like having bouts, it's like, okay, at least we're
I think
getting
Junior
somewhere.
Dos Santos did a pretty good job in the ring. Like, for a guy transitioning from MMA, he did about as well as you can ask.
Took a table bump.
Yeah, he did take a table bump, and then he started firing off at Roman on Twitter.
Yeah.
So I did watch the Roads to the Top preview or whatever that they had. It was like a whole episode, so I don't know why they were like, it's a preview. But I did have it on in the background while I was drawing. And during the first commercial break, there was a really good interview segment with Brian Danielson. And he just like completely in this very chipper dad voice said, you know, like, I had my time and whatever, and, you know, was an entertainer. And now I'm a wrestler and I'm here to kick some fucking heads in.
He didn't say fucking because it was TV.
Well, yeah, but
yeah, he's like, I'm just here to kick some heads in. Like, so
completely chipper.
They keep putting stuff in the Roads to the Top, and I need them to stop doing
it's
that.
You can't make me watch Roads to the Top. I watched like 10 minutes of it last week, and it was horrendous.
Yeah,
and I'm not touching it again.
I mean, it's really good background noise. So the one thing that like was interesting was seeing Cody realize, like, we talked about contract signing segments earlier, and the thing is, I think unfortunately Cody is very much someone that likes that style, and that's kind of where the genesis for the Agogo segment came from, because in his mind he was going to use that to put over Agogo, which I think, like, if I'm thinking about it, like, that's a non-starter to me. Even had the scale worked, like, that was not gonna put a
like how the scale was broken.
Yeah, so the scale was supposedly broken, and that's why he couldn't get it to balance right. They didn't test it beforehand or anything. But Cody's whole idea was he was gonna use this segment to put over this new young guy, Agogo, and I just don't think that.
How does a weigh-in put anyone over?
I don't know. Like, he was gonna look like a real asshole during it or something. But the thing is, I'm like, to me, a weigh-in, a contract signing, unless like it immediately goes wrong, which is what you're kind of expecting, like, it's just dead air. It's just dead air. I don't care how short.
Yeah, so the first wrestling show I ever went to featured a Mox and Jericho contract signing as the main event of the show. And it was legitimately just like, why did we spend the last 5 minutes on this?
Yeah.
We could have done anything else.
And even that broke bad pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. Jericho and the Inner Circle just start beating up Mox. And it's like, it's a segment that continues what they're doing. But why do a weigh-in at all? It doesn't matter what these people weigh for. You don't have, like, a heavyweight versus a lightweight division.
Yeah. Yeah. The only one of those that I've ever really enjoyed, like, anything, ironically, involving Chris Jericho in WWE when he was doing the list of Jericho, and you got, like, Kevin Owens, dunking him, the Mitch the Plant, when they did the funeral of Dean Ambrose segment.
Oh, see, sometimes WWE can do them right.
Yeah.
But it's always based on the talent elevating the stuff they're given.
Yeah.
Like Seth giving his eulogy to Dean after he had killed him, quote unquote, after smashing his head into cinder blocks. It is funny on a lot of layers, but like Seth actually elevates that material.
Yeah, like generally anything with The Miz, anything like speaking WWE wise, anything with Dean Ambrose, anything in the constellation of Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens, and Dean Ambrose, like those are all good. But other than that, very rarely have I seen one of those like really not feel just like dead air.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how this is the well that we keep coming back to, specifically on SmackDown right now. Because it's like, this is SmackDown was the one that like not even a month ago had Roman sign his name over someone else's name.
No, that was John Cena.
Oh, sorry, it was John Cena. Sorry.
See, Mike, you can't get the contract segments clear.
Fake fan.
Yeah, but Dynamite also I thought was really a really good show.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really thought it was a great show. There was some things that I think some people are taking some issues with, but I don't think they're AEW problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the
From the top.
Yeah.
From the top, Malachi Black and Dante Martin was, I think, Malachi Black's best match at AEW.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, for sure.
And Dante Martin is a goddamn star.
Yes.
Incredible.
He turns gravity off whenever he feels like it.
Mm-hmm.
It is wild, and Malachi's got the coolest entrance in AEW, hands down.
It's really good.
Yeah, and the thing that excites me is it's gonna be, I know it's always unfortunate for someone to have a really grievous injury that puts them out like 9 to 12 months. And that is the reality of what Darius Martin has. Like it's not them keeping him off TV or anything. Like he just was injured that badly. In the rehab.
Rip Top Flight as a tag team.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you can glue that back together.
I don't know, because
I think even if he comes back to pro wrestling, he can't wrestle that same style.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might not be able to. That's a
Was
good
it an
point.
ACL?
Well, no, I think that putting Dante with Leo of Dante is good, but he's a tag star right now.
Okay.
Which means that when Darius comes back, there will be a spot for him either in trios or Dante goes back or whatever. It keeps the thing warm so that Darius isn't kind of left by himself when his brother becomes a singles guy.
One thing I will say is that Leo Rush's disappointed mom face at the end of the match was really
so good.
Leo Rush is doing a great job right now.
Yeah.
LBO Leo makes no goddamn sense, but I
No.
love every second of it.
It doesn't make sense, but it did make sense in the backstage promo that they did, because Leo Rush is really excellent at exuding the I've created a pyramid scheme vibes.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? You lost, but the thing is, I planned for you to lose. I knew you were going to lose. It's okay that you lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
really
Love
good.
him.
And I do think, like, having seen Leo wrestle at GCW, I do think that his style and Top Flight's style, you know, Dante Martin's style, they go together very well, because Leo is also someone that could just turn gravity off and do these amazing things. Not quite the same, like, high-flying moves that Top Flight is known for, but similar enough that I think they'll gel very well. And I think it's good also for, you know, in the backstage sense, to put him with this younger talent and, you know, let him feel like a part of something rather than just someone glommed on to the AEW whole.
Leo Rush exudes enough charisma for two people right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's like, so like all of that was like really, really great. There was, I would say, I'm really glad that like there's something for Leo Rush to do now. Like, and it proves that like we don't, I'm glad this week we had no Matt Hardy at all on the television. Not that I hate Matt Hardy, I just think that like his weird enlarged faction
is the weakest WWE transplant right now.
Yeah. If he just quietly slides away for a little bit,
that's fine.
I don't think anyone's going to like notice.
The
in
thing
a bad
about
way.
AEW is usually they have people like not on every show, because but Matt Hardy's been like on every show, and I think it's kind of
he has
exhaustive.
a brand new baby.
Go do a thing.
Like you have an infant at home and a ranch, and you know, like
got a compound.
A compound.
The compound.
Like go home to your go home to your very hot wife that you keep talking about on Twitter. Like, just go, like, it's fine. They got stuff here, Matt. Like, go chill.
Okay. It's okay.
So, yeah,
Our next match was what you guys alluded to earlier as a thing some people were complaining about, but the match itself, really good. The Lucha Bros lost to brand new tag team, the Los Super Ranas, who we've never seen before.
Super Frogs.
They got hot shotted to this title scene very quickly. They got booked to win their first match ever and won the AAA Tag Team Championships. I'm tired of this 50-50 booking. What other buzzwords can I throw in here? FTR was really, really good for this whole match.
I was going to say, that seems like a Vishal match.
I personally, as somebody who grew up watching Attitude Era Wrestling, when that happened, when they came out in those outfits, I said, this is FTR, and they got this idea from Edge and Christian, because that's what it was calling back to. It was when
the Conquistadors,
the Los Conquistadors, and I loved that because it was fun. Like, that was like, of course this is happening. Like, FTR like know Edge and Christian really well. They like I'm sure they got this idea from them. Like, so I really liked that, like, connective tissue. Because that was like, that's the good nostalgia. I said last night that AEW is doing WWE nostalgia better than WWE. Because there were two places that happened last night in AEW programming. But I really liked the match. Everyone was having like a fun time. And I know people are upset about FTR winning the AAA like tag titles. But that's AAA's fault. AAA doesn't understand anything about what they're doing with their belts.
They don't know what belts mean, in the rest of the world.
Well, also,
it feels like
what I have heard is that AAA just doesn't care about title changes if they're not on AAA stuff. Like, it just doesn't matter to them.
Yeah, like, I'm sure the Lucha Bros titles back at some point, but if they don't, personally, I think a heel FTR run at AAA would be Cardona and GCW levels of really fucking funny.
Yeah, especially because they are like the literal antithesis of
Lucha
what
Libre.
Lucha Libre is.
Yeah,
it would be really fun. If AAA wants to play ball that way, I think it would work really well. But I don't know what their side is at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think they do. So it's not that they're just like, here's the belts, whatever. It's that they see value in putting the belts on like non-Mexican competitors when it's not on their programming, so then the people can come back, because the only stuff that's really like canon or whatever to AAA is what happens in AAA, which is it's everyone pretty much agrees that I know that it is ridiculousness, right? That the way that AAA books makes no sense, but apparently that's the way it's been since time immemorial, and that's the way it's going to continue to be.
And I like the connective tissue too, what we saw afterward. I like that Andrade like got FTR from MJF.
Yeah, just paid him off with, I guess, double what he was originally going to pay him.
Yeah, because he gave him cash and check.
Yeah. I like MJF. Like, this is what I like from MJF. I wish MJF was doing this. Like,
and like, to bring that up, he has a promo later that personally I thought was really good. That entire segment.
No, I thought
with calling out Darby, getting very terrified by Sting, leaving Wardlow in the ring to just die.
Yeah. Also, I
fantastic stuff. This was, I think, MJF's best week in a very long time.
Yeah, and I love that he is that asshole who thinks he can speak Spanish now, or like he's allowed to speak Spanish because he's worked with a Mexican wrestler. Like, muchos dineros, gracias.
Poppy, yeah.
Poppy, come here, give me a hug. Like, what? It had me in stitches. I was loving it.
Yeah, like, and I don't like MJF segments, so that says,
well, because it being with someone else meant that by the sheer nature of it, like, he didn't just get to talk forever.
Yeah.
And even when he was in the ring, it felt like to the point. So, hey, like, if that's what it's gonna be, then I'm glad. Also, I'm really glad that we're getting to see, like, Andrade's character, his post WWE character, is cohering, it feels like.
Yeah. I think his match against Pac on Rampage, which from what we've heard from the taping was incredible. I think that's going to be like the point where it solidifies fully.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. John Moxley killed Wheeler Yuta.
Oh my God, just absolute murder.
Yeah.
And then left.
Yeah. I saw a lot
He's going to be facing Orange potentially in the upcoming tournament as well.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen.
Which was why this happened.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It like put some seeds in the ground for that.
I know I saw a lot of indie wrestling fans on my timeline really pissed off that Mox just squashed Yuta like this. In my personal opinion, Yuta's got a long career ahead of him. One squash is not them burying him or anything like that.
People don't know what that was.
John Moxley is in kayfabe the best wrestler at AEW.
Yeah.
Still never rightfully lost his title. Like, what?
I know this. However, I know a lot of the people that I follow are just like, it's like, these are my favorites. Like, why are they being treated this way?
Yeah, that's what it is. Which, that's...
I can understand being upset.
Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but I thought it was harmless. I really liked the way Orange came to the ring. I really liked the way that Wheeler was, like, selling this. Like, he was like, I'm dead. I'm legit dead.
If anything, it shows, like, I think some people thought that this was going to be a chance for John to get Wheeler Yuta over. I just don't think that was where Utes is at right now.
No,
and if
it's
anything,
not.
It does show that he has some chutzpah even just agreeing to go up against Mox.
Yeah, and it sets up Orange and Mox, and I think that match will be something to see. I think that'll be really, really good.
Yeah, they still haven't had a match yet. They've had some
that's what I realized
interactions in the Diamond Ring Rumbles.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, like, no real matches, and I'm excited.
And they had some small interactions in the ladder match last week, right?
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, so that was like a little sprinkle.
I'm impressed with how good AEW has seemingly gotten with having one of those big, like, multi-man matches and then seeding things that will continue to spin out. It's like an automatic, like, story engine for them. They've gotten good at that. The next match was my match of the night.
Of course it was.
Because it made
the one where the Dark Order smooched Adam Cole,
Yeah. It audibly made me scream into light.
Okay, not just that though. My favorite bit of that, it was a really great match in my opinion, but my favorite bit that I did not see coming whatsoever, because I imagine there would be some trickery with the kissing of some variety.
I knew the kiss had to go wrong at some point, but TNT is cowards, and they wouldn't do the thing that they always did on the indies, which was when someone would pull Adam out of the way and Matt and Nick would smooch on accident. But they won't do that.
Screaming at the Mr. Sacco part. Because as soon as Uno pulled the sock off, I'm like, is he gonna pull this? Like, is he gonna pull the sock off? Oh my God, are we gonna get Mr. Sacco? Ah! Like the mandible claw. Oh, it was so good. It was so good.
Nick sold that like a champ.
Because these are like, this is two trios that really did come out of like the PWG scene. Like they have that same kind of creative energy, and it's a Saturday Night Dynamite. Like, you don't have to be as serious as maybe you would be on a Wednesday, because like it's a weekend. Like, you want people to have fun. And it was everything I would have wanted. Like, it really felt like the Mr. Sacco bit especially felt like the silliness of the Attitude Era at its best.
Yeah, like that was like, not only was it the sock, it was Nick's sock
that he put in Nick's mouth.
And then there was like a New Day. There's a little New Day spot.
Where Adam Cole gyrates his hips like he's Big E. Yeah, it's really good.
It was really good. And then Nick had to wrestle with his sock off, his shoe off and sock off for the rest of the match. And I'm a huge fan of the Super Click and the Elite just nicking every other trio's finish, like every other like main trio's like finishing thing, because they now they're going to continue to do the Shield power bomb that after they botched it the first time. And I love it. It's so good. We didn't mention like the beatdown segment that happened before this, where Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy were like having a promo, and then the Elite come and like kick their asses basically.
And
Which I think
the
I
shield
think this,
powerbomb.
yeah, I think this might have been like the first time I've actually seen like the four of them like actually beat down people backstage.
Like Adam,
like together,
finally
like
joined
together.
Yeah.
It was good. I really love this match. These teams have really great chemistry. I think if anyone's going to tear down the Elite as it stands, it'll be the Dark Order. They're the only team that feels like they can go up against them. And the end was really great because they abandoned Cutler in the ring per usual, who tried to cold spray Jungle Boy when he came out and did it to the chair.
But he cold sprayed a chair instead. Yeah.
And then Jungle Boy put him in the snare trap and then sprayed the cold spray in his face.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Cutler, like Adam Page, talks to Cutler, and if the Elite lose their stooge, I think that could be really interesting.
Yeah.
Because Hangman and Brandon had a genuine friendship before Hangman left. So, like, that was the one person that kind of accepted Hangman, like, that actually heard Hangman's apology.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like, they both made up, because I think Brandon apologized to him as well.
Yeah.
Because Brandon
was the one that encouraged Hangman to say he was sorry to Matt.
Yeah.
And the one who told Matt and Nick that were like, just get over it, basically. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I really, 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 really enjoyed that. And we talked about the MJF segment already. But Kiera Hogan and
Penelope Ford was a match made for me.
I liked it. It was fun.
It was good.
It was fun.
I love Kiera Hogan. I love the Punk bit about all the famous Hogans.
Oh yeah, let's talk about CM Punk on commentary, because he's really good.
He did a really good job basically the entire night.
Yeah.
It was great.
I hope that he's on Rampage or like whatever show he's not wrestling
Ricky
on.
Starks on Rampage commentary is really good as well, because he just has really good banter with Taz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They just do Team Taz stuff.
Punk's killing it.
Yeah.
Punk's hilarious.
Yeah, I know Punk's really good. Ben Hogan, the golfer, not to my knowledge. Excalibur. No,
because it got to the point where JR was like, all right, knock it off.
Always a good time watching the ladies wrestle. And again, there are stories going on now. So Ruby came out to kind of get her revenge, and then we had like
Ruby looked incredible.
We had a backstage segment with Anna Jay and Britt Baker, where Anna just like went for Britt. Basically.
Well, and then Britt's like, you just hang out with losers.
Yeah.
Britt kind of quietly signaled that she's not a part of the Elite, but she's hanging with them.
Yeah, she's aligned.
We all knew that.
Yeah,
she's aligned with them. And
Yeah.
then Anna just kind of started beating the shit out of her. It was great.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
And then Sheeta and Serena Deeb had a segment that I liked a lot too.
This was the first segment that I've actually liked Serena Deeb in, like where it felt like she had some charisma. Somebody that I follow said that she had strong multi-level marketing, selling essential oils energy, and I think that's great. Like, I think the slimy like charismatic person, like that works really well for her. Like, I never thought she had any charisma when she wasn't wrestling before, but I like whatever version of her has come back. Also, Punk quipping about how she has a great head of hair is really
Very
funny.
good.
Yeah.
And then we heard from Hangman finally.
Oh, here, I feel like I keep talking over you, Vishal. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't have anything to say.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, Hangman gave a promo with a lot of shits in it, which I'm pretty sure has to do entirely with the time slot they were in for this episode. There's
Saturday.
different network regulations on weekends and late nights and whatever. But it does mean that Hangman got to say cowboy shit like 30 million times.
God bless.
God bless. This promo was really good, and it kind of clarified for me like some parts of the story that I think had taken a backseat that I hadn't thought about for a while, which was a lot of people love to talk about how deep of a bond like Kenny and Hangman had as a tag team when they didn't really. It was two people who were with each other because with each other they kept winning. Like, that was the inexplicable thing about
in
it.
their like promo vignette for their title defense against the Best Friends, they straight up say we're not even friends.
Yeah.
Like that's a thing they say about each other and agree with.
So people kind of romanticizing what Kenny and Hangman's relationship is. That's just not the story. The story's always been about Hangman failing and like he threw some stuff in there that like he didn't shit talk the Elite. He didn't do any of that. Good babyface things, especially in the place that Hangman is in with them. He didn't like drag them. He didn't like call them cowards. He didn't do any of that. But what he did say is like, this place, I believed in the change the world mission, but it changed, like this place changed us.
And I didn't believe in myself.
It changed me. Like, and I like that, like, we know it's changed all of them. Like, that's why this is happening. But the fact that he said the first time since I've been here, I actually believe in myself. Like, it was really good. It was like a good reminder of like what the story
It was
really
a
is
reminder, and it was not even like a mission statement. It was like solidifying that he's winning at Full Gear. There's no other outcome. He's gone the full character arc. He made it to the other side.
And it's so important to have, especially a babyface, like owning their own shit. Oh no, we lost Vishal.
He's back.
Whoops.
Owning his stuff.
Like owning his failures and the times where he's been less than what he hoped that he could be, and that affected who he was in the ring. Like that, it's just really good. And not only is it really good in a wrestling sense, it's really good in just like a role model sense.
Yeah.
And it's something that I don't think happens all that often, like in media in general. No. So it's just really good. It's everything I could have hoped for. It just, I totally agree with you, Vishal. Like, this is what I needed to see to close that arc, and they totally like knocked it out of the park. And then
now we have time between now and Full Gear to get some. There'll be something happening.
Yeah, of course.
How that plays out.
Now that the match has been guaranteed, I feel have to have some response to this. They're not going to be silent for the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
No.
And that's when it's going to hurt a little.
That's when it's going to hurt a little bit. Yeah, that's when we'll get the feels out on this one, because I think Hangman's got a clarity of purpose now. I think he knows what he needs to do, and what he's going to do going forward in the next couple of weeks will be very interesting to see.
Yeah.
It'll be cowboy shit, whatever it is.
It sure will be. And then we had another Ryan Danielson match to close the show.
Well, no, hold off. Before that, we need to talk about Arn Anderson's
the
training session.
The fever dream intervention that he had for Cody Rhodes. Like, everything
it genuinely felt like dream logic. Just Cody appeared in this like area of limbo with Arn Anderson and the Nightmare Factory, and they all hate him and are all trying to beat the crap out of him.
Yeah. It was, honestly, I liked it a lot. Like, but also I live for weird dream-like nonsensical shit. So I am here for just like that's the kind of stress dreams that I have, like where I failed everyone. No, I'm serious. I have weird stress dreams where like everyone is just disappointed in me, and that's like the worst thing. And like, while I don't think that Cody will be the person to like actually follow through on this like thinking about it, especially in that sense, it's like that's kind of like the gifted kid like nightmare, right? Of like having let everyone down and not being the person that you thought you could be, or like
who
you thought you were being. Yeah. So I liked it.
Arn
continues to be inexplicable.
Arn continues to save Cody's entire ass.
I understand what Arn is doing. Half of the promos he cuts are genuine nonsense. Like half a coherent thought stretched out into like a 2-minute promo. and the other half are just yelling at Cody. That the two sides of Arn right now are that.
Yeah.
It's bizarre, and I love seeing what he's gonna do because it's the most unpredictable part of the show for me. If you told me before the show that Arn was going to kidnap Cody and bring him to a fucking training center and have members of the Nightmare family just start beating Cody up, I would have been like, what?
Yeah. Basically.
But what this did was it announced Cody versus Black 3 next week, which I'm not looking forward to.
Cody's gonna win it, and it'll be bad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
At least I'm not gonna be there for this one.
Yeah, you can't. You break your record of being there for every Malachi Black Cody match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem for me, is like, I like this segment a lot. If it were me booking it and I had to deal with Cody Rhodes, I would want to be like at least 2 more weeks. Like, I would want to have the Hangman resolution, right? Where it comes full circle and it feels like Cody hasn't gotten
in the
there
middle
yet.
of it. So maybe Cody loses again and we see something else.
I think Cody might lose. Like, some people are predicting they'll do a weird double turn, but I think turning Malachi face is like the worst decision you can make.
No,
what
don't.
are you doing?
Yeah.
No, I think Cody still loses, but it's going to be for like a third different reason.
Yeah, or there's like
Arn.
Or Arn.
Yeah, maybe Arn.
Oh God! What if Arn throws in the towel?
Could happen.
Maybe the House of Black brings someone in. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think, like you said, Cody's not done. They're acknowledging this entire feud hinges around the fact that everyone was booing Cody in New York, that I was booing Cody in New York. I'm part of this feud now forever.
I'm sorry, Michelle.
But no, that's what Arn's entire motivation is when I fought Dusty, I was an asshole and everyone booed me despite me being cool as hell.
Mm-hmm.
They're booing Malachi. They're booing you. They shouldn't be booing you. You're the good guy, aren't you? And Cody, this is the closest we're getting to that like character arc that everyone's been wanting for Cody, that like we've been worried Cody didn't even realize was happening.
Yeah.
And so I'm just worried they're going to rush it and do it too soon. And maybe they won't. I think that just the fact that they're acknowledging this means that they've been more aware than I've given them credit for in the past.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to see where this goes.
Yeah, I think if anything, Cody, I would be afraid of rushing things, because it just seems like, obviously he isn't his character on Roads to the Top in real life, I would hope. But it just seems like in general he underbakes ideas unless he has a collaborator. So I would hope that backstage Arn has a little, now that Arn's more hands-on in this, that he is
Arn and Malachi have to be really good collaborators.
Yeah. Because, like, I just think that's it. Cody just half-bakes ideas. Like, that's why, and when he's the one that's totally in charge of the narrative, like with the Agogo thing and everything like that, like, things just don't go well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he needs someone there to, like, crystallize things into the best form.
He needs an editor.
Yeah.
He needs an editor.
And then, we got Bryan Danielson and Bobby Fish.
Incredible, honestly.
Kicking each other, doing a real good job the whole match. Big fan of both of these guys. Bobby Fish is, like, solidifying why he's valuable at AEW, because he doesn't need to win every match, but he can feasibly beat anyone he's in the ring with. He's a good wrestler.
Yeah, and he can teach other people how to do that too. Like, he's a trainer. You know, like, that's something that is really valuable, especially for your mid-card talent, is like how to lose, believe, and still maintain that you're strong. Which is something AEW already does really well.
And Miro cut a promo.
Oh, Miro said he's not going home to his wife until he gets a championship again.
Yeah.
God, Miro screaming at the top of his lungs, like, "Why have you forsaken me? What did I do wrong?" was so powerful. I mean, he just continues to be just the most incredible promo.
And we got our brackets. We got our brackets.
The brackets out. We'll talk about that. Mox is going to kill, I don't even remember who it was in the first round.
Is it Hobbs?
No,
it
No,
was
Orange and
Hobbs versus Orange,
Yes.
and then they face the winner of Mox versus Local Jobber. Let's say it's not Local
Oh
Jobber,
no,
but
no, it's 5. It's 5.
Yeah.
Dark
Is it
Order's Jobber. Yeah,
No, it's 10.
it's 10. It's
Oh.
10.
Excuse me, Preston Vance. Army
Yeah,
Rise Up.
press
yeah.
10 Vance. Yeah, he's gonna get killed by Mox.
It's
Mox
true.
is going to beat the hell out of Orange Cassidy. And on the other side, we got Bryan Danielson versus
Dustin.
Should be a good match.
Yeah.
They have to have wrestled in WWE, right? Like Goldust versus Daniel Bryan has to have happened.
I don't know, but the
Rhodes Brothers versus Team Hell No at least has to have happened.
Yeah.
the backstage segment between Bryan and Dustin was
really
actually
good.
very incredible.
They had another Rose to the Top moment. Yeah. Where Dustin confronted Bryan and he shook Bryan's hand.
Well, he went to shake Bryan's hand and then he holds Bryan's hand and like talks in the low voice, like the low dangerous, and he sounded so much like had the charisma of his dad, and it was actually just genuinely
good.
a really
he
good
told
moment.
Bryan that he's never won a world championship and he's gonna bring his A game. So he hopes to God that Bryan brings his.
And then Bryan's like, I don't have anything that isn't an A game, basically.
Yeah.
And also the wild card match of the first round, Lance versus Eddie, where
yeah.
I don't know what's happening here.
I don't know, because
Yeah.
I think Bryan against Lance would be really interesting. Either one of those is like, it's really, is it New Japan or All Japan match that Bryan wants to wrestle is the question.
Yeah.
And he has wrestled a lot of New Japan matches.
I think for the sake of like a different matchup, I think it would be really fun to see Bryan against Lance.
Yeah.
He hasn't wrestled
Lance
a tall
is one of
guy
the
yet.
biggest guys at AEW,
Yep.
But at the same time, Bryan regularly wrestled tall guys at the other place, so who knows?
True.
Yeah.
Either way, I think I'm happy with that outcome. I think
and then,
the end.
I think that the little note card that Tony Khan had was maybe more accurate than he's trying to let on right now.
Yeah, on Busted Open, he was like, "It's just scribbles. I was just doodling."
Yeah.
Oh, sure, Tony.
Bryan versus Mox is the end.
He
game,
really
right?
said that before the bracket came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sure did.
Yeah, Bryan versus Mox is the end game, right?
To be.
And then
I think the actual end game is 10 versus Dustin Rhodes, the matchup we've all been waiting for.
You know what? You say that, but you know, what if they just did
They'll put that match on Roads to the Top.
Yeah, that match will be on Roads to the Top. Yeah.
It'll be on the first commercial break of
Roads
to the Top.
Because they're both on Roads to the Top. No, speaking of Roads to the Top, the one thing that was really interesting to me about Saturday's Roads to the Top, because I also like had it on.
Mikey is now watching Roads to the Top. It's not apparent.
Like,
I'm not happy for you, but like, okay.
It's passive. It's like background noise. Okay, I was cleaning up and putting stuff away. So I remember what I was doing. I was cleaning up after the cats. So the really interesting thing is seeing how much Dustin is actually like Dusty. Because he has a bunch of young women's talent that he's kind of nurturing that are working on Dark Elevation. And it reminded me a lot of Dusty and Dusty's kids from the beginning of NXT. You know, Bailey, Sasha, that whole cohort of women. And Cody does kind of, like, I joked once that he's just an android that was put together by brands. And it really does seem like...
It seems like they came from two different families.
Yeah, or like Dustin got all of the, like, caring and compassion of Dusty, and Cody got none of that. I don't know. It's weird, but I'm glad for Dustin that he has that. Like, Dustin is also, like, very much a dad with a capital D. And I was glad to know that. Did I want to watch Roads to the Top? Not particularly, but I also didn't have time to change the channel. But it was very heartwarming to see that was what was happening.
Yeah.
Like, that exists in Dustin's life. Even if it's just, you know, on the camera on Roads to the Top.
Yeah.
So
we got another, they're going to keep putting these inset promos into Roads to the Top, which is unfortunate, but it's just the way we're going to live. We have another Saturday Night Dynamite next week.
Rampage has already been taped. without going into spoilers, the buzz is that Pac versus Andrade 2 is maybe the best match Rampage has ever had.
Yeah, it's
which I would believe because I think their first match was the best match Rampage has ever had.
Yeah, or it's a toss up between that and Nick Jackson.
I like Nick and
Danielson.
Brian, but of course I would like Nick and Brian.
You would.
So let's not with that. But AEW's I think gonna fire on all cylinders up until Full Gear.
Mm-hmm.
In all honesty.
Yeah. Next week we got Raw again. We got NXT again. We got the G1 finals, which I'm excited for.
Let's actually just get this out of the way before we get there. I think we'll talk around Crown Jewel because I don't think any of us are watching it.
I'm not sure on it. I might watch specific matches after it's done, and we'll talk about the finishes. I doubt any of us will have anything
glowing to say
blanket
about it.
Statement: we do not think that WWE working with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in its current form is something worth supporting.
No.
Yeah.
Not at all. So yeah, unless something astonishing happens in this Hell in a Cell is the best Hell in a Cell match there's been since King of the Ring 1998. We'll let you know, but I don't think so.
At the very least, I think we'll be catching up via recap article.
Yeah, I will because one of my two wrestlers is in there, and I'm gonna have to look at least at that.
Yeah,
but we'll see what happens.
Do you think it'll be the Demon King?
Honestly, I'm happy with either outcome. Right, Xavier winning means that he has done everything he's wanted to do at WWE, and New Day can go wherever the hell they want.
Yeah, now they can just disperse.
Finn winning means that something of value happened since he lost by falling on his knees.
Yeah.
And I would be interested in that. I'm curious if he'll do the demon stuff in Saudi Arabia. I assume he will. They'll want to see that.
Yeah, we'll see.
Or they might not, because I know that they got kind of... There was something I was reading about how there was some outrage about some of the stuff that happened in the last Saudi Arabia show about it being against their values or something. So who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, I have no idea.
Against their value.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, these people, the first time they got WWE, they asked for 2 dead wrestlers to show up.
Yep. Yeah. So
it's just who knows what'll happen.
Yeah. Who knows? But yeah, so we'll have some more to say. Like I said, I think AEW is gonna just continue put to the gas pedal up until we get to Full Gear. So we'll see that. And then
see Okada in the G1.
They have to hit the gas pedal because they have to put it into Full Gear.
No. No.
It has to shift into Full Gear.
I don't know what I'll do once because I think at least Kenny will go away for a little bit after Full Gear.
I think he has to. Well, so there's 2 outcomes. Either he goes away for a little bit, which is very easy, or someone like Danielson is just come at me now. You don't have your stupid title to hide.
Yeah.
Do this again.
I think there's a lot of value in Kenny maybe going away and then coming back and him being the one to ask Brian for a rematch. Finally, him being
that would work well as well.
Yeah.
Maybe Kenny goes on excursion to Japan for a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe he decides to go back to Impact Wrestling and win his other championship.
That's it. That's the ticket. That's the ticket. No, I think if I think the thing is for Kenny to go to Japan, I think he will not be able to be that Kenny that we want him to be 100% of the time until he's healed that wound in himself.
Yeah.
So I think that's the ticket. So we'll see.
So what do you think about Buddy Murphy on Strong, Vishal?
I think it's a really good move. I'm not going to start watching Strong, sadly. I guess I can watch Strong on New Japan World, but I don't have the time. It's on Fridays, and there's 2 other wrestling shows on Fridays.
Yeah. I do think it's a better fit for him than Impact.
I agree, and I hope I don't know if they'll put him with the juniors because he is swole, and they don't like their juniors as meaty as Buddy Matthews is.
No. We'll see. I don't think so either. I think he'll be a breakout.
Someone
in some
also
way.
brought up a good point I saw somewhere that him actually going to Japan would work well because he'd be closer to his actual home.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
Yeah, Australia. Yeah.
I think he would do really well in New Japan also.
Yeah, he's a great fit for like any of their tournament styles. He's good at high flying. He's good at just beating people up. He's very well rounded. And all I would like is for. Oh wait, no, he is having a match with Malachi at that one indie promotion. I can't remember.
Yep.
Yeah. And he's
Can't
not
wait for
super
that.
injured or anything,
That means
right?
and this means he can walk through the door at any time.
Yes.
AEW.
Yeah, he's not injury prone. He just
Yeah.
got left in catering.
Yeah, that's what I
years.
thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's
Charlie just low key showing off.
I didn't mean to show off my cool Adam Cole Street Fighter shirt, but
It's very cool that you have it. It's a really cool shirt.
it's really good.
Adam Cole said he actually didn't manage to get one.
Oh no! I'm sure someone will send him one.
Yeah, he mentioned on the Sweets stream that he showed up on that by the time he made it to the merch area of the con, they were out of everything except smalls.
Oh no! Do I have to buy? Do I have to finally? Do I have to get Adam Cole a men's size medium shirt and send it to his PO box?
You can only buy them at NYCC, right?
Do I have to
they're
give
out.
Adam my T-shirt?
No.
No.
Charlie, I'm sure.
I'm sure AEW would custom print one just for him.
Yeah, like it's printed at the same thing that the rest of the PWT is, right?
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
limited edition. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, the time has come for me to tell you to if you like the content that we put out, please like and subscribe to Comics X Fight on YouTube. Put a thumbs up on this video.
that thing.
It helps us in the algorithm and shows our video to you if you're watching related other wrestling content. You can find us on Comics X Fight on Twitter. I've been doing some streaming things on Twitch. I'll probably continue to do them and incorporate some other like fun. I've got some ideas to like jazz up the audience, as it were. You can find me at twitch.tv/genetic ghost. You can find me there. I'm gonna try and do that at least once a week. I will do it again on Wednesday to fill the void of what we don't have wrestling that day.
If you would be interested in us streaming similar type content, as we're doing right now, let us know.
Yeah, that's absolutely also doable. Other than that, you can find me at Genetic Ghost on Twitter, where I do stuff.
At Quantum Dot on Twitter.
Yeah, Mikey does stuff too.
Yep.
How about you, Vishal?
At Vigola87 on Twitter. I don't do stuff.
It's it's better that way. Twitter's not a real place.
Some people need to be reminded.
Yes, Twitter. It's just the data.
Oh,
it's just
man.
the ones and zeros over there. Although I met all of you there.
It's true.
But until next time. Goodbye. Good night. Bang. There you go.
Bye,
Nice.
everyone.
Keep it tight.
All right.
Wait, that's not ours.
You know what? It's
Maybe it
whatever.
could be.
We're just throwing out catchphrases at the end of the day.